Hey everyone! Today we are doing Who is Missing You? So whose mind are you on right now? Who is missing you? Most of this is probably going to be no contact because we're looking at people who are missing you. But that might not be the case for every pile, so we'll see what we get. We're doing 4 piles today, and before I do the pile pickings, I just wanted to say I record these a couple days in advance, so I didn't get to say it in my last video, but I went from like 8 subscribers to like 175 like overnight, which is super cool. Um, I'm really glad that my readings are resonating with people. It makes me really, really happy as a reader. The the more people that watch my reading, the more complex the readings get, which is a lot of fun for me as a reader, as a diviner, just in general. So it's really great that people are resonating with my messages. It makes me super, super happy. So thank you guys so much for being around. I really, really appreciate it. Anyway, I just wanted to say that we've got 4 piles that we're doing today for Who is Missing You. So for pile number 1, we're going to have the Jack of Spades. For pile number 2, we're going to have the King of Diamonds. For pile number 3, we're going to have the Queen of Spades. And for pile number 4, we're going to have the Nine of Diamonds. And so that's pile number 1 with the Jack of Spades, pile number 2 with the King of Diamonds, pile number 3 with the Queen of Spades, and pile number 4 with the Nine of Diamonds. And for the collective, I've got the Five of Hearts. So this is definitely heartbreaker energy. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of no contact. This is going to be a lot of people who miss you because they are realizing in your absence what they had now that it's gone. So if that's not the kind of reading that you're signed up for, please don't be afraid to skip this one. People are missing you guys. That's definitely looking like it's going to be the theme for the reading already. People are missing you guys. All right, so for pile 1, again, that's going to be the Jack of Spades. For pile 2, that's the King of Diamonds. For pile 3, that's the Queen of Spades. And for pile 4, that's the Nine of Diamonds. So we're going to get started with pile 1 and the Jack of Spades. And so the Jack of Spades is indicative of Gemini energy. Already, this is someone very mercurial. I'm getting someone who is a slick talker. This is someone who's really good with their words. And also someone who's probably very popular. At their worst, this could be someone who can be a little bit two-faced. And someone who might talk a little bit about someone behind their back. At their worst, at their absolute worst. At their best, this is someone very creative. This is someone very, very fun. This is the kind of person and energy that you would call up for a like spontaneous day out if you were looking to have a really, really good time without any plans. I am getting the energy of someone who can be a little bit flighty. Already, I'm getting the sense that this wasn't like a big falling out. This wasn't like a big ending or anything like that. This was a relationship that kind of fizzled out because I think that this is the kind of person who has a hard time keeping solid relationships going. So this is someone who is missing you because I think you might be a solid energy. You might have been a solid energy in their life. We tend to attract like, right? Like at our best, when we're vibrating at our best, we tend to attract our like energies. People are compatible like that, right? And so I'm getting that this is someone who when they met you, they might have been at their best. They might have been they might have been capable of having a really, really deep, in-depth, supportive relationship. But times went on and cycles happened, and they were going through a cycle and you were going through a cycle and things kind of changed. And now they are at a point where they're kind of surrounded by energies that are very similar to them. They're surrounded by people who are very flighty and not as supportive. Not necessarily unsupportive, right? But people who can't really like dig their feet into the ground and really support someone when they're doing like long haul endeavors. And I have a feeling that this person is going through a change in their life where they're trying to do like long lasting, long haul endeavor things. And they really miss the stability that they had with you in their life. Definitely someone who has a very good grip on both their feminine and masculine sides. So like, and when I say feminine and masculine, what I mean pretty specifically is both internal and outward energy. Think Leo and Cancer energy, almost the twins. Very, very, very internal, external comparison energies. So when I say feminine energy, I mean internal, Cancer energy. When I say masculine energy, I mean external, Leo energy. This is someone who has a very, very good grip on both. They're someone who is capable of being alone. The Emperor. Yeah, there's someone who's capable of being alone, and they're also someone who's capable of working in a group. Either way, they will go towards what they want. Like I said, regardless of the fact that this is someone who maybe might be finding that they don't have the support in their life that they really need for what they are doing right now, they're still going at it. They're still going to do this undertaking. They're still in the process of doing this undertaking, regardless of the fact that they might feel like they don't quite have the support that they really need to do it right now. All right. Now, what more can I know about who's missing you right now? I am getting the sense of very Page of Swords energy. Even though this wasn't a situation where there was a falling out, I do get the sense that because you are a stable energy, this person feels they feel a little bit guilty coming back into your life, particularly at a point where like they could really use your energy in their life. You know what I mean? Like it feels they're trying not to be selfish and they're trying not to feel selfish about this whole exchange. And because of that, I think they're trying to figure out the best way to re-enter your life. They're trying to figure out the best message to send. Very Page of Swords energy. This is the sense of someone who they've been writing and deleting messages, or they've been looking and like kind of scoping out your social media to see what you've been up to and to see maybe if there's a chance that they could, if you like live in the same area, maybe there's a chance that you could like run into them somewhere just on accident. Like they're very, again, this is someone who's very smooth, very slick with their words. The Ten of Cups. Yeah, they feel like if they can arrange for a kinsmate reunion between the two of you, things will hit it off really well. Again, there is a sense that there's very compatible energy here. There's very supportive energy here. They just feel because of their energy that they aren't as supportive towards you. And that might not be the case, right? Like every relationship, every healthy relationship should be give and take. And this doesn't feel like it was a toxic relationship, even if they were a little bit more flighty than you. There's the real possibility that this is someone who brought a sense of spontaneity to your life. This is someone who brought a sense of fun to your life. when you were at a time in your life where you were feeling kind of bogged down, at a time in your life where you really needed that sense of fun and freshness. I don't get the sense here that there are bad memories. I don't get the sense that you would be upset if you were to get a message from this person. And on some level, I think they know that, but they don't want to feel or seem opportunistic by only approaching you because they want you back in their life. They very much feel if they could arrange for a meeting between the two of you, or if they could arrange for an accidental reunion, things would kind of just naturally feel themselves out. You know what I mean? Like the relationship would kind of naturally repick itself up. It's just the initial contact that they're having issue with. It's just the initial communication that they're trying to figure out. What else can we know about who is missing you right now? Okay. If this was a romantic relationship, this was something that never quite got its legs under itself. This is something that was like not quite a one night stand, though for some of you it might have been something like a one night stand, but it feels very fun. It feels very flirty. It feels like it never quite got out of like the talking or like situationship phase. And we've got the Six of Swords. Now, the Six of Swords kind of indicates again that traditionally the Six of Swords is about leaving one not so safe shore as leaving one not so safe shore for another safer, calmer shore, right? Being ferried away almost as a refugee. It feels like this person is at a very turbulent time in their life. And not necessarily that they're leaving an unsafe shore, but they're leaving a shore that is no longer right for them. They're leaving a shore that no longer fits them. And they feel kind of lost at sea. There's the energy of being kind of lost at sea. They really admire the fact that you are a grounded person. They see you as someone who's very grounded. They see you as someone who has your feet under yourself. And they admire that about you a lot. Lately, they've been thinking about you a lot because they take a lot of inspiration from how you handle your life and how you hold yourself, especially how you hold yourself through transitional periods. They are maybe a little bit lost at sea right now, and they're looking for a calmer shore, and it's making them feel like maybe they can find that with you, if not necessarily like at your shore. Maybe you can help them find somewhere calmer. And we've got the Two of Swords. They're definitely in stasis right now. The Two of Swords is also about it can mean intaking intuitive information or intaking friendly information, right? There is something very there's something very calm about the Two of Swords. Even though she's holding two weapons, she's in a neutral pose and she's very calm. She's not threatening, even though she is defensive. This person is currently at a spot where they're taking in all of the information that they can before moving forward. Basically, that's why they're watching your social media. That's why they're probably asking their other friends about how they should approach you, especially if this is a romantic situation. They're asking the people around them how they should approach you, or how they should continue this, how they should restart, I should say, this relationship. They're looking for everything that they can get before moving forward. They're very much assessing the situation. So even though this is someone who can be a little bit flighty, this is definitely someone very analytical. This is someone very logical. This is someone who is a very thorough, fast thinker. Someone very clever. This might be someone in communications or like in business, as far as their career goes, or as far as their interests go. And we've got the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords traditionally has very slick energy, right? Traditionally, it's about a thief who's stealing away with five separate swords. This is someone who is used to getting what they want. um, this is definitely someone who's used to getting what they want. I do get the sense though that you've seen them maybe not in the best light. Like that you've seen them doing maybe not the best stuff, or you've seen them operating in maybe manipulative ways when you two were still talking, or when you two were still in like regular communication with each other. Because this Seven of Swords features a shadow on the rock behind the coyote scaring him, right? There's definitely the sense of their past coming back to haunt them here, which I think is part of why they're being so thorough and so picky about how they're supposed to reapproach you with everything, because they know that you know that they can be very manipulative and they can be very slick. Like they can very much not mean what they say. So they're trying to figure out the best way to approach you and actually get across the fact that they are authentic. Right now, their past is kind of coming back to haunt them, because I get the sense that you are not dumb. Like, this isn't a stupid thing for them to be like worried about, basically. This isn't a baseless fear. Like, you aren't dumb. You aren't going to allow someone who regularly manipulates their way back into people's lives to come at you with like massive amounts of sweet talk and not get suspicious about it, right? Like that's just par for the course. And on some level they do kind of I've mentioned this already. They do kind of feel like they are being a little bit opportunistic because they miss you. They're in a situation right now where they miss you. So, on some level, they do feel a little bit opportunistic. On some level, they do feel a little bit like they're trying to like weasel their way back into your life because they want your energy. And it's not a great feeling. This isn't someone who's a bad person, right? This is just someone who maybe operates in ways that are morally ambiguous to the rest of us. But they're not a bad person. They're not trying to go around hurting other people. So they they're aware of the ways in which their behavior affects other people, and they're aware of the ways in which their behavior can negatively reflect on themselves. And the Eight of Wands. Now, 7 to 8 is progression. Both that progression and the Eight of Wands itself indicates to me that you should anticipate communication from this person very soon. They have been in stasis for a second now. They have been trying to figure out the best way to approach you, but that situation isn't going to last for much longer. It's not going to be something that keeps up for much longer. The Eight of Wands is the communication card. You will get some form of communication soon. And there's a sense that it's going to be a little bit humbling. This person will be humbling themselves a little bit to communicate with you. I think that is where they're going to ultimately fall on as far as how best to approach you, the humble way, which like, yeah. If these are all their fears, if this is all of their concerns, yeah, being humble is the best way to approach you. This Eight of Wands is depicted by the rainbow crow. When the rainbow crow came down, it lost all of its rainbow feathers and became a black crow. And it was humbled a little bit in the process. This is what's going to happen when they approach you, when they finally message you. It's going to be a situation where they are humbling themselves to do so. And I think that will be enough of a sign that they are at least aware of the fact that they haven't like been in contact with you. It's been a situation where there's been no contact, and they are thinking of you now because they specifically think you could benefit them in their lives. Not that they don't think they can benefit you, but like that's why they're thinking about you right now. They're thinking about you because you could benefit them. Even if this is romantic, they're thinking about you right now because they want a stable relationship after a point in their life where they weren't interested in anything stable. you are a stable person and they never really got over you as a romantic interest. That doesn't change the fact that they've been out playing the field and there is the real possibility you are no longer interested in them anymore. And the star. There's something very, very hopeful about this energy though, with the five card line capping off with the star and the star being the only major arcana card in the line. There is something very, very hopeful about this energy. The star card is also a communication card. The star card and the eight of wands card are both communication cards. So again, expect that communication and expect it very soon. The star card is indicative of someone who, the original star card in the Rider-Waite deck depicts a woman who is pouring two jugs out, right? One of them is going into the water and one of them is being just spilled out onto land where it's being wasted, right? This person is they're feeling very tossed up as to whether or not you're actually going to accept their offer or accept their line of communication. Which is really interesting, frankly, because there's no sign here that they expect bitterness from you. It indicates to me, at least, that there's this feeling that they internally don't really feel good enough for you, as far as like, especially if this is romantic, but even if this is just like friendship or like business wise, there's this sense here that this person doesn't quite feel good enough for you. And they're transmuting that into this very hopeful energy, they're feeling very blindly hopeful, basically. And we've got the death card. Yeah, they are very much not sure how you are going to respond to them. Regardless of the fact that there's no bitterness here, they're not sure if you're going to accept this or not. Because I don't know if they just don't feel good enough for you. The death card is depicted here by someone who's pulling back the curtains. They are completely 50-50 on whether or not they're going to be able to get you back into their life. They do, however, feel that if they could get you back into their life, there would be it would be transformative for them. Especially if this is romantic, it would be very transformative for them to have you back in their life, basically. If this is business wise, this is someone who wants to they want to undertake a new business venture with you, basically. Likely someone who they would be financial backing. They want to offer you financial backing towards some kind of business venture. That you have mentioned before and that you have talked to them about specifically before. And we've got the dolphin. Highly intelligent, playful, loves to have fun. Yeah, I think that I mentioned this at the very beginning. This is definitely someone who likes to have fun. They're the type of person who you would call up to have a good time, a good spontaneous afternoon, a good afternoon without any plans, right? And that highly intelligent reflects the Gemini energy that we were talking about at the very beginning of the reading. This is definitely someone who's very good with their words, and this is definitely someone very, very clever. Clever comes to mind more than anything else. There's someone very quick on their feet, someone very witty, someone very clever. And we've got the hummingbird. Athletic, free-spirited, and pretty. Very mercurial. In the sense that Mercury was a very pretty god, very mercurial. This is someone who, and I mentioned this before, there's someone who has a very good grasp on their masculine and feminine sides. This is someone who can come off as kind of androgynous, whether that's in how they behave or how they physically look, or both. This is definitely someone who feels very androgynous, someone who's very, very in touch with both their masculine and feminine sides, and someone who literally, according to gender binary, might enjoy both things that are coded as masculine and things that are coded as feminine and everything in between. Someone who's very comfortable with themselves. Which is why, by the way, this nervous energy that comes with them feeling like they're not good enough for you, it's a huge compliment towards you. I don't think that this is the kind of person who feels self-esteem problems just as a point of reference. I think that this is someone who typically is very confident in themselves and typically is very aware of their value and knows what they bring to the table. And I think that awareness of what they bring to the table, frankly, is what makes them feel like they're not good enough for you, because they feel like you bring more to them than they bring to you. All right. What more can we know about the person who is missing you right now? Okay. And we've got demon, hedonistic, sensual, and self-indulgent. This is someone who, at their worst, can be a little bit selfish, especially people who have maybe not the best history with them. I have a feeling that there are people who would describe this person as self-centered. I get more than anything though, this is very much you only live once energy. This is the kind of energy that like this person is just looking for passion, they're looking for experience, they're looking to have a good time. And I think that can accidentally sometimes step on other people's toes, basically. They might have this definitely has the energy of someone very fun. This definitely has the energy of someone very popular. I don't think that they do it on purpose, but I do think that they can maybe leave a trail of broken hearts in their wake just by how they live their life. And I think that they're aware of that. I think that they're aware of that as maybe a little bit of a character flaw. And especially if right now they're at a point in their life where they're trying to grow out of that particular character flaw, it's why they're hyper aware of it in regards to trying to approach you again. It's why they're hyper aware of the fact that they are. It's why they're hyper aware of the fact that they have left a trail of broken hearts in their wake. Like, they might not be the most trustworthy person in regards to being in a committed relationship. And we've got the penguin. Cute and playful, loving and loyal. But this is definitely someone who can be loyal. And I do think that if you were to look into like their actual history, they have proof of that. Maybe not necessarily with like romantic relationships, but I do think that this is someone who might have been very, very loyal to their friends. Or this is someone who is very, very loyal to their family. Or this is someone who is very, very loyal to their ideals. No matter what, I do get the sense that this is someone who is loyal and can prove that they have loyalty in them. They just up until this point have centered themselves and their own growth and their own forward motion over maybe being the most likable person in the room. And that hasn't actually impacted whether or not they're likable for the most part. Like, they do still seem to be a very popular person. This does still seem to be someone who still, I think I mentioned it earlier, they still have people to ask for advice from. They still have people who they can turn to if they really need the extra assistance, right? That's how they're turning to people and asking for advice regarding you, in fact. And we've got the siren, mesmerizing beauty and sex appeal, alluringly talented, hard to get close to. Now, both the demon and the siren as mystical beings and the hard to get close to, there is something a little bit there is something a little bit intangible about this energy. Um, I get the sense that this could be a person who has maybe some trust issues. That might be why they are so flirty at their core, or not flirty, but flighty at their core. Flirty. If this is a relationship thing, then this is definitely someone who has trust issues. That's why they have commitment issues, right? This is likely someone who has a history with unstable relationships, whether that's romantic or not. This is likely someone who might have a little bit of abandonment issues. That's why they try to keep themselves emotionally distant from other people. And again, this feels like someone very, very self aware. This feels like someone who knows that about themselves. And the energy that they're in right now, honestly, especially between the Star and the Death card, and even the Seven of Swords at the exact middle of the 5 card line, there's the sense that they are in a very transformative time right now where they need to move past certain parts of themselves that they don't really like about themselves, right? Certain parts of their history that is haunting them a little bit. They're trying to evolve into a better person. And they really, really think that you can help them with that. Even if they can't have you back in their life, there is a sense that they take a lot of inspiration just from your story. They take a lot of inspiration just from who you are. You inspire them a lot. And we've got the Yinglang. Magical, good listener, secretive. Another one, secretive. Again, with that hard to know energy, and another mystical creature, too. This is someone who they have a very mythical almost reputation. Like, this is definitely someone who a lot of people might know about, but not a whole lot of people actually know, like, really know. They are definitely someone who enjoys having, like, enjoys being more a legend than a person, or has up until this point really enjoyed being more a legend than a person. Someone who, even though there is a sense that they are very self-aware, they still don't quite like showing just how vulnerable they can be. All right, loves, that is what I've got for you. Actually, you know what? Why don't we go with this? Why don't we look at how this person is going to contact you? Because I'm definitely expecting communication from this person. One more deck. All right. The Death card, the birds, and the pads. And so directly, the Death card indicates an ending. The birds indicates anxiety or gossip. And the pads indicates a choice. This is talking very specifically about the ending of your relationship, because this is no contact, regardless of the fact that this wasn't a major ending, right? This wasn't a huge falling out. There was still a point where this relationship stopped really being a relationship and started being a former relationship. So there was an ending here. And because of that ending, there's a lot of anxiety that follows this person around about restarting the relationship and about contacting you again. There are more birds on this card because birds indicate multiple people talking. Again, this indicates that this person is definitely asking around. They're definitely intaking everything that they can before they move forward with contacting you and communicating with you. And the paths indicates a very specific direct choice. So I do believe that they are going to make the decision to contact you. Everything here points at the fact that they're going to make the decision to contact you. As it stands right now, I don't think that they have firmly decided quite just yet that they are going to, because I don't think they've firmly decided quite just yet that they know how they want to. Again, there's this energy here that I think I mentioned this earlier. There's this energy here that they are setting stuff up. Like, if you guys live in the same area, then they're going to places where they know you might be, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and you'll be there, right? But how kinsmate can it be if you're going to the same place that you know a person is going to be at every single day at the same time, hoping they'll be there? When they suddenly show up, it's not fate that decided that, right? Like, it's you being there every day at the exact same time when you know that they'll be there. And so I do think that eventually they're going to, yeah. The woman speaks of introspection. I do think that they're going to sit themselves down and really realize how ridiculous they're being and reorganize their approach to this. All right, so how is this person who is missing you right now going to contact you? And we've got the cross, the birds again in the exact same spot, and the sickle. And so the cross speaks of spiritual moments, hard spiritual moments, like big growth transformation moments. They are going through a transformation right now. What's likely going to happen is they're going to hit a roadblock in their transformation, a difficult point in their transformation, a peak in difficulty in their transformation. And when that difficulty peaks, the anxiety that follows them around about contacting you is also going to peak. The sickle speaks of harvest, and specifically of the sweeping motion in harvest, like taking everything all at once with a sickle. They're going to basically bite the bullet and message you. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the kind of message that you get at like 2 o'clock in the morning, where they just spill their whole soul. And that is how, I think I mentioned earlier even, that like they're going to humble themselves when they finally reach out and contact you. That very well might be how they humble themselves. They might just, instead of trying to be cool in the moment, they might just spill everything out because they really, really need the support, and they're trusting you to be there for them when they really need it. Do expect something sudden, though. This is going to be something very sudden, and it feels like it's going to be very out of character for them. This is going to be a sign of growth, in that they're willing to be vulnerable in this moment, rather than trying to be slick and slide their way back in like they usually do. And the rider at the bottom of the deck, the rider is indicative of fast moving energy, fast moving messenger energy. Again, expect this to happen soon. Expect this message to come to you soon. All right, loves, this time for real. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you so much for coming out and playing. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was entertaining. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, and we are on pile number 2 with the King of Diamonds. So the King of Diamonds is indicative of Taurus energy. Already we're getting a very luxurious vibe. This is someone who is very good with their money. This is someone who enjoys the finer things in life. The Nine of Wands. And this is also someone who worked very hard for this. This is not someone who was born into their money. This is not someone who was born into luxury. This is someone who worked very hard for what they have. Someone who likely has a very pulled themselves up by their bootstraps kind of story. Traditionally, the King of Pentacles is the equivalent of Taurus in the Rider-Waite deck. And he is painted to be a king who's still wearing battle armor, right? He's the only king, in fact, aside from the Emperor, who is the manifestation of all the kings, who is in some kind of battle armor. He's reclining in his chair as if he has won his battles already, and he is enjoying all of the luxuries that have come with winning those battles. But he has won battles. That is how he has gotten to where he's gotten. That is how he has all the prosperity that he has. There's even rams indicated in that original card, throwing back to the Emperor. He is of all the kings the closest in card temperance to the Emperor. This is someone who worked very hard for what they have and is very proud of all of the work that they've put in for what they have. Definitely someone good-natured, though. I'm getting the word jovial specifically, which fits considering Jove, right? As in the king of the gods. There is something very royal about this energy. There is something that speaks of they're good-natured because they don't have any other reason to be, right? They don't have any reason to be anything other than good-natured. And the Queen of Cups popped out right then. Not the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Coins, which is the match to the King of Pentacles. This is someone who is they're very well internally balanced too. When I say masculine and feminine energy, I mean very specifically internal and external energy. Think Leo and Cancer energies, right? Internal Cancer energy, external Leo energy. This is someone who has a very good grasp on both. Someone who is very good at introversion and someone who is very good at extroversion. If this isn't someone who is actually physically, literally older than you, this is definitely someone who is very mature in how they handle themselves and how they hold themselves. The Eight of Cups, someone who's definitely been through a lot, someone who has been through a lot in their life. If this is someone younger, this is someone who had to grow up very quickly. If this is someone older, this is likely still someone who had to grow up very quickly and someone who, again, had to achieve everything that they achieved at a very young age because they didn't have any other choice. Definitely very proud energy. This person is very proud of themselves. They're very proud of their accomplishments. They're very proud of where they've gotten themselves in life. They're very proud of what they've done with their life. So what more can we know about the person who is currently missing you? And we've got the Tower in reverse. This is someone who, just describing them as lucky might be pushing it a little bit because, again, they've definitely been through a lot. But given the fact that they are someone who's been through so much, they're someone who feels lucky. This is someone who, every bad situation has multiple people who have undergone it, right? Like, everyone has an individual experience, but if we were to look at the broad details of it, people go through the same types of really horrible things all the time. And some people have horrible instance after horrible instance. They cannot catch a single break in the line of things. And some people manage to catch one break, and that one break changes everything, makes it possible for them to get their feet back under them. It doesn't make what happened to them or the hardships that they went through any less terrible or any less difficult. But it does give them that little edge of luck that maybe the other people around them didn't have. That is the kind of energy that follows this person around. They're lucky in the sense that they catch breaks, basically. They dodge. This is the energy of someone who their brakes failed on the highway and their car coasted to a stop right before an intersection where they would have gotten T-boned on both sides and definitely would not have survived it. Like, their brakes failing is awful, awful, especially in the situation that it happened in. Awful. But the fact that they coasted to a stop right before they definitely would have lost their life, there's no denying that that's lucky. There's no denying that that's a very, very lucky thing to have happen to them, right? That's the energy of crisis aversion here. This is someone who has that kind of luck. We've got the Five of Cups. Yeah, this person has been through a lot in their life. It's really interesting too because there's a sense here that this is someone who you haven't spoken to in a very, very long time. There is a definite sense that's coming to fruition here that this is someone who you knew before all of their success. You knew back when they were still going through all of the terrible things that they've gone through all of the hardships that they've gone through. You knew them back before they were a king. Regardless of whether or not regardless of how this person identifies, right? You knew them before they had King of Pentacles energy. You knew them back when they were still, I'm getting like a page. In fact, not even a page. I'm getting like Five of Pentacles energy. I'm getting someone who has cast out, someone who really had to fight their way back in. You knew them back then. And I do get the sense here that they want to impress you. They want to come back into your life and impress you with how much they've grown, how different things are for them. This is definitely leaning more romantic. This is definitely someone who they want to impress you because they want your admiration. They admire you regardless of how that admiration takes place, and they really want admiration from you in return. The Lovers. Yeah, definitely romantic. This is definitely someone who, and the Lovers here is depicted by the Beauty and the Beast. Um, this is someone who they feel like they were not good enough for you. This is definitely someone who they feel like at one point in their life they were not good enough for you. That's part of why, that could be in fact a big part of why they've worked so hard to get to where they are right now. They really, really, everyone works hard to impress somebody that they're interested in romantically, right? Like this is definitely the energy of someone who they want to seem like a big shot to you. They want you to be impressed by them. They want you to see them as a serious romantic option. The Eight of Swords. And I get the sense that this is someone who they're a little bit embarrassed about who they were the last time you saw them. They're a little bit embarrassed about who they were when they knew you last. This is definitely the energy of like childhood friends. This is someone who you likely knew at a very formative time in both of your lives. So it's kind of like going through puberty. You might have known this person when you were both going through puberty. Like, everyone's awkward at that stage in their life. Everyone is. Like, it's so crazy when people like post glow up pictures from when they were like 12 to when they were like from when they were 12 to like their current age at like 18 and over, right? Like, you were just going through puberty. You just weren't done growing yet. Like, everyone is awkward at that time in their life. Everyone. And this person, I think because they knew you at a point where they were exceptionally awkward or at a very, very exceptionally bad time in their life, they're still kind of embarrassed about it. Like, I think part of why they're having such a hard time approaching you and part of why they're having such a hard time trying to re-enter your life is because they're embarrassed about how they knew you the last time they knew you. Even with all of this growth, they're worried that you won't see them as any different than the last time you saw them. They're worried that you'll never see them as more than this trapped, exiled person. And that's not to say that they were like even much of an outsider at that point in their life, right? But this person definitely feels like there was a point in their life where they were not good enough for you. They were not good enough for you. They were not a good pair for you. They were not a good match for you. And they think now they have what it takes to be a serious romantic option for you. But they're worried that you won't take them as a serious romantic option. And it's trapping them a little bit. The Eight of Swords speaks of trapped energy. It speaks of self-imposed trapped energy, in fact. This is definitely someone who knows how to contact you, definitely someone who has figured out how to contact you as far as like actual lines of communication goes, right? This is someone who like found your social media, or someone who you two have like people in common that you know, so they could have somebody rehook it up. Like they know how physically, literally to get in contact with you, but they're having issues making themselves take that step because they're worried about how you'll respond to them. They're worried that they'll never be more than what they were in your eyes. And that, I think, would be more of a blow to them than never getting the chance with you. It would be devastating to this person to know that you will always see them as what they consider to be the worst they've ever been. And we've got the Queen of Coins coming out again. So the Queen of Coins is Capricorn energy. Capricorn, Taurus, this is strong, strong earth energy. The Lovers is even Mercury. Or no, the Lovers is Gemini, which is another face of Mercury, the other face of which is Virgo. There's strong earth energy coming out here. This is definitely someone who's very, very well grounded, and honestly I think that groundedness makes it keeps them stuck in their head. There's this level of anxiety that comes with being too down to earth, where you think of everything and you can't stop thinking of all of the different things that might happen because of all of the different faucets that go into it, right? Virgos are notorious for this kind of thing, overthinking. This person is definitely an overthinker. And more so than an overthinker, this person is a long-term thinker. Capricorn speaks of Saturn energy, long-term energy. This person thinks in the long term. And I think that's getting in their way. Long term, they don't think that you will ever see them as what they were to you. They think that that is permanent long term for you. So they're not even giving you a chance to prove them wrong. They're very, very caught in their own head. This is someone who's extremely caught in their own head, which is unfortunate because outside of approaching you, outside of trying to prove to you that they have evolved into a better form of themselves, they're very proud of themselves. They're very proud of what they've accomplished. I think I mentioned this earlier. They're very, very proud of how far they've come and how much they've accomplished in their life. They're proud of how much they've grown since knowing you. But sometimes we regress, right? When we're put in the situation, when we're put in an old situation with old faces, sometimes we regress. And this person is regressing back to a point where they didn't have quite as much confidence in their life whenever they think about approaching you. And we've got the Nine of Cups, but ultimately it would be a dream come true. Ultimately approaching you would be a dream come true. I don't want to confirm just yet. I want to read a little bit more before I say anything about whether or not they will approach you, because there's something so split exactly down the middle about this energy. They definitely think that approaching you would be a dream come true. Getting that acceptance, having that kind of relationship with you, it would be a dream come true for them. But again, finding out that you will never see them seriously, it's more devastating to them than never finding out at all. So there's definitely the sense here that they still need to get to a point where they are comfortable enough to approach you. And honestly, I I personally can't tell yet if that's a thing that they're capable of doing. You intimidate this person quite a bit. You definitely knew each other at a very formative time in your lives. You intimidate this person quite a bit, which is very, very funny because they intimidate lots of people in their life now. The Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. They talk to other people about you though. They definitely are going and looking for advice. If you guys have friends in common, especially if you guys have friends in common, they have gone and they've asked around, they've tried to find advice, they've tried to get advice on whether or not they have any kind of a shot with you, or whether or not they, not a shot with you, but whether or not they could ever impress you. And it's not specific enough to say that they want a shot with you. It's so important to this person that they impress you. They really, really want to impress you. It wouldn't be good enough for them to, like, for instance, okay, this is a very specific example, but say you knew someone when you were younger, like when you were in middle school, you had a friend who got picked on a lot and you stood up for them all the time. You were always standing up for this friend. You became something of a hero for them, right? Say you two graduate school, you grow apart, you run into each other one day, your friend is grown, they look great, they've been in the gym basically their whole life at this point, they're doing fantastic for themselves, they've got a great job, they've got a great career, they're an amazing person, right? Or they're a very accomplished person, let's say it that way, they're a very accomplished person. But when you look at them, you only see them as the friend that you had, and that makes you happy. You're like, oh, I'll never see you as anything other than the friend that I had. Like, we'll always have that relationship. For you, that is, you might not even be like friend zoning them. You might be saying, yeah, I've really missed you. Let's give this a shot. I'll always see you that way. You haven't changed at all to me. But for them, that is a kill strike. They don't want to be that person for you anymore. They want to be something different. They want you to see them how they see themselves now. They have changed so much and they want that kind of validation. They want you to acknowledge how much they've changed, basically. They want that kind of acknowledgement from you. They want that kind of admiration from you. They want the way that they look at you, the way that you inspire them, to be how you look at them. And they aren't, they're not sure if that will ever be the case. We've got jellyfish. Go with the flow, otherworldly, intuitive. So intuitive stands out the most here, and so does otherworldly, but otherworldly I think refers more to you. This person idealizes you a lot, if that hasn't already been made clear. This person idealizes you a hell of a lot. They see you as almost this otherworldly, mythical being. They, I don't want to say religious. Religious sounds like almost too intense, but like they have just such an intense connection to the thought of you, even with it being no contact. Like this person takes so much inspiration from you. It's part of why they're almost willing to never get the chance if it means they can hold on to this fantasy forever, because they take so much inspiration from you. They admire you so much. Intuitive, however, you I have a feeling that you know who this person is, regardless of the fact that I don't think that you've spoken to this person in a very long moment. I don't think that you've had contact with this person in a very long moment. Intuitively, I still think that if you've been thinking of someone that you haven't thought about in years, if you've been having callbacks to memories that you haven't thought about in forever, especially if you've been dreaming about people that you haven't thought about or seen in forever, it's a good sign as to who this person is. It's a good direction as to who this person is, the kind of people that you have in common, or the kind of people that were in your lives at the time when you knew each other the most. there's a very intuitive connection here. If you are someone who is openly spiritual, and honestly, if this person is someone who is openly spiritual, this person might be, with the lovers here specifically, there is this sense here that the lovers and the Nine of Cups, even the Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment. There's a sense that this person might have been manifesting you on purpose. Like if this is a spiritual person, they might be manifesting you on purpose, like specifically manifesting you back into their lives. They might be performing small incantations or rituals to try and reestablish communication. I'm trying to keep this from sounding creepy because frankly it doesn't seem creepy to me. It doesn't. But if this person is spiritual at all, there's definitely the sense that they have been actively working to like manifest you back into their life. All right, what else can we know about the person who is missing you right now? All right. And we've got the Snake, sensual and seductive, exotically beautiful, misunderstood. So, sensual, seductive, and misunderstood. Exotically beautiful, this is definitely someone who stands out in a crowd. Just flat out, this is someone who stands out in a crowd, whether that's because they have a very specific look, or because they have a very specific personality. This is someone who, when they walk into a room, they stand out in a crowd. It is extremely hard to miss them. Sensual and seductive, obviously, this is someone very, very attractive. The Tower card speaks of just straight up physical attraction, like sensual attraction. The Lovers card speaks of soulmate energy, actual love, right? And the Queen of Coins with Capricorn energy, along with Taurus energy, these are very, very sensual signs. There's very, very earthy sensuality to them. The Nine of Cups is even depicted as a pair of lovers. This person is very, they don't hurt for love interests, basically. If there was a point in their life where they hurt for love interests, that is no longer the case. They're being stuck on you is not for lack of other interests or lack of other options, I should say. Basically, you are just what they want. This person is very attractive. This person has a lot of options romantically. You are just what they want. You are the wish fulfillment that they want. And for a lot of you, regardless of the fact that this person hasn't been in your life for a long time, they feel like there's some kind of soulmate connection here. And honestly, I think as time has gone on and as it's been longer and you've been separated even longer, I think it's only reinforced the feeling that they haven't let go of your energy. They haven't let go of your memory. For some of you, this wasn't even a person that you knew super well. This was a person who you maybe had like a one summer fling with. This is a person who you had a one summer friendship with, even. But you've impacted them so much. Like, they still take so much inspiration from you. They still think about you all the time. Like, they can't let go of this feeling that there's some soulmate energy here between the two of you. This person is extremely attached to you and feels like there's something meant to be there. Misunderstood. I do get the sense that they I do get the sense that they have gotten a reputation as a little bit of a player. Um, they might not have the best romantic relationship. They might not have the best romantic reputation because of their relationships. And there is a sense that they are nervous about you finding out about that, or nervous about it impacting any kind of relationship that they might have with you. And we've got Cat, spoiled and bratty, introverted, and ungrateful. coming out right after misunderstood, it's hard not to pair the two of them together. I get the sense that this person can, their self-assuredness and especially their dedication to self-growth and self-improvement can come off as selfish. I do get the sense that they can be misread as someone who will put themselves first. Again, there's this sense here that they might not have the best reputation, especially in romantic relationships. I'm getting especially in romantic relationships. This person might not have the best reputation, and they are really nervous about how that might impact you seeing them. They're very nervous about how that might impact how you specifically see them. And we've got the dog. So cat and dog coming out together here is also confirmation again of that balance. This is someone who's very, very well balanced. This is also someone who, by the way, feels like they're heavily misunderstood. They feel like their reputation is not a good reflection of who they are. They feel like it's unfair that they've been maligned like this, and they think it's unfair that they have to worry about how you'll see them because of a reputation that they don't agree with. I get the sense here, the Three of Cups is also gossiping energy. Even there's a sense that like gossip follows this person around, and they're nervous about how that gossip, especially even if you're not involved in their life, like this is the kind of energy, like this person overthinks. I think I might have mentioned that earlier. This person overthinks so much. This is the kind of energy that like this person might already be worried about bringing you around their friends and the kinds of things their friends will tell you about them. Like this person hasn't even reopened conversation with you yet, and they're already nervous about bringing you around anyone in their life because of how these people might talk to you about them. Like they're already concerned about keeping you as far away from their history as humanly possible. Dog, territorial, easily fooled, easily attached. Territorial stands out right there. Again, they're already trying to find some really strict delineations between their life with you that hasn't even started yet, mind you, and their life with other people. Like they're already they want a fresh start with you, is what comes out the most here. If they're gonna have a start with you at all, they want it to be fresh. They want it to be separated from any kind of like bad history or bad reputation that they've managed to make for themselves on the time that you guys have been separated from each other. Easily fooled and easily attached both make me think that if you were to ask this person about whether or not, like, if you were to ask them about their bad reputation, especially with romantic partners, they would tell you that it's not their fault. Like, they would tell you that they were fooled. They would tell you that these people fooled them, that they tricked them, that these relationships were not what they thought they were. This person feels like they haven't had the most healthy relationships. Let's just say that. This person definitely feels like they haven't had the most healthy relationships. For as established as they seem to be materially, emotionally they seem to have had issues establishing like really serious relationships. And honestly, for some of these people, it might be because they have held on to this idea of you. They idealize you a ton. They hold you up as the ideal partner. So they compare people to you. They've compared people to you for years at this point, and no one is ever going to measure up because everyone is always different. Like, they want you. It doesn't matter that there are other people who are also great, who are wonderful, who are multifaceted and can bring wonderful things to their lives. What they want is you, and no one is ever going to be you. No one can ever be you. And we've got the goldfish. Short attention span, misunderstood, often gossiped about. Second, misunderstood and often gossiped about. Your person feels like they are very malaligned. They feel like it's not fair that they have to worry so much about how their reputation will impact whether or not or how their reputation will impact how you see them. And we've got the penguin, cute, playful, loving, and loyal. At the end of the day, though, this person wants to prove to you that they can be the perfect partner. And perfect partner is definitely what comes out here. They want to be the perfect partner for you. What comes to mind is um the penguin and the pebble. I'm not sure if that's what the movie is called, but it's about a penguin who finds a pebble, and it's the perfect pebble to propose to another penguin with. I think this is actually a thing that like certain types of penguins actually do. They propose to mates with pebbles that they offer them. This person already fantasizes about like proposing to you. This is a massive overthinker. This is the kind of person who is all the way stuck in their own head. They think about all of these things. They have all of these thoughts. They're worried about how gossip will affect things. They're worried about how their reputation will make you see them. They're worried about what their friends will say to you if they ever bring you around. They're worried about how you'll respond to a proposal. Like, they haven't even reopened conversation with you, but this person thinks about all of these details all the time. And it's actually wild because I still have yet to get a solid read on whether or not they will contact you, whether or not they have it in their head that they're going to contact you. So that is going to be the last thing that we read for. All right. So, will your person contact you or not? The person who misses you, the person who is missing you right now, will they contact you or not? All right, and we've got the mountain. Already, if they do contact you, it's something that they're going to have to put in the work to get over. The mountain speaks of challenges that you can't just endure and get through. You have to work yourself over them. You have to work your way around them. You have to problem solve your way through them. You have to put in the effort to get through them. If this person works up the nerve to contact you, it will be because they actually work up the nerve to do so. There's still a little bit of growing that they have left to do as far as their actual confidence levels go before they are in a place where they can contact you. And frankly, before they're in a place where they will contact you and not do you a disservice. Like, this person seems like a great person, but if their anxiety is just going to tear apart any kind of relationship that you guys may or may not have, then what's the point in them contacting you? You know what I mean? And we've got the clover. But when they work through it, they're going to do it quickly. The clover speaks of quick fortune, good luck, quick turns in luck. They're going to contact you quickly. They're going to be very quick about how they do things, almost like they're trying not to miss an opportunity. And the sickle also confirms the quickness there. The sickle speaks of harvest in one foul swoop, or not foul, in one swoop, right? Harvesting quick with a sickle. This person is going to send you a very sudden message, a very spontaneous message. Don't be expecting something fun and lighthearted too. There's lighthearted energy that comes with the clover. This is the kind of message that it might come out of nowhere, inviting you to an event or inviting you to a fun thing, inviting you to like brunch, something that you would enjoy, inviting you to something that you would enjoy that you would have a hard time saying no to. That's definitely the plan, to invite you to something that you'd have a hard time saying no to. And we've got the house at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, and they want to build a home with you. The goal here is to build a home with you. They are going to contact you. I'm not sure how long it'll take them to get through it, but they definitely are going to contact you because ultimately they want to build a home with you. They want to have a lasting foundation with you. That's very sweet. I hope this person gets through their things quickly because this is a very sweet energy. All right, loves, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope it was fun. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was enlightening. I will see you next time. Bye. All right. And we are on pile number 3 with the Queen of Spades. Now, the Queen of Spades is indicative of Libra. So already we're looking at someone who's very graceful, both in their speech and their manner. This is someone who doesn't like rocking the boat, and who doesn't like it when other people rock the boat either. This is someone who really likes harmonious exchanges and harmonious relationships. And someone who's very pretty. Already, this is someone who is very pretty in their manner and light in their touch. This is someone with very delicate sensibilities, basically. They dislike violence, they dislike arguing, they dislike altercations of any sort. Regardless of how this person identifies, there's something very, I don't want to say feminine, but very, very elegant and delicate about how they move through life and how they operate. This is also someone who might be a little bit of a gossip, someone who might be a part of gossip circles, basically. Someone very popular, someone who is very popular. Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is indicative of Gemini. Again, someone very popular, someone who might be a little bit of a gossip, but someone who's very good with their words, someone who's very, very good with their speech. And someone with a good sense of justice. Definitely someone with a good sense of justice. They might not like altercations of any sort, but they dislike seeing misjustice done. Alright, what more can we know about who is missing you right now? Alright, and we've got the Three of Wands. This is definitely a forward thinker. Again, they might not like altercation, but they definitely don't like seeing misjustice. This is someone who has kind of social justice vibes about them already. Someone who is, I'm getting solar punk almost. Someone who, this might be a gardener. This might be someone who's into the self-sufficient lifestyle. Someone who is very forward thinking in both the way that they live their life and their ideals. And the Ace of Wands in reverse. But this might be someone who has a little bit of an issue with implementing those things. Someone who might have very lofty ideals, but has a hard time really putting those ideals into motion. Already, as someone who dislikes confrontation, but also has an interest in social justice, I'm getting the sense that this is someone who they regularly, the two sides of themselves regularly clash with each other. They regularly find themselves at an impasse where they would like to fight for certain ideals of theirs, but the idea of fighting just in general is something that they don't like to do. And the Knight of Cups, definitely someone who wears their heart on their sleeves, though. Someone who, when push comes to shove, they will stand up for what is right. When push comes to shove, they will put their foot down and they will stand up for what is right. But there is something very Piscean about this energy. They are very dreamy about how they think of their goals. They're very lofty in their goals. This is someone who prefers to think of a world where everyone can talk out their problems and come and hold hands together and solve their issues like that. This is someone who believes in equality and someone who might not have the most grounded sense of how to go about achieving that equality. The Magician. The Magician is more Gemini energy. The Magician is technically Mercury energy. So the two faces of Mercury are Gemini and Virgo, right? So this is definitely someone who they have very lofty ideals. The Magician is someone who is very idea forward, right? Very innovative. Gemini is someone who is very idea forward and very innovative. But the Virgo side of this is someone who can be a little bit of an overthinker, someone who can be a little bit too analytical for their own good. I think that they can get lost in their own thought process. And this is the first time, by the way, that we're actually seeing you come into the equation. I think that's part of why they have yet to approach you. This is definitely someone who I don't think that you knew them very well. In fact, for some of you, I think that this might be someone that you only knew over social media or over electronics. This might have been like a long distance friendship of some sort. This is definitely this is definitely the sense of someone who is a big overthinker. So between that Piscean energy and that overthinking Virgo energy, they think of all of the worst case scenarios of reaching out to you and trying to talk to you and trying to establish a relationship with you, and it keeps them from even trying. I do get the sense that this is someone who hasn't really had an established relationship with you, someone who maybe has been watching you from the sidelines for the entire time knowing you. Again, for a lot of you, this is someone who you know them in passing, or you know them over the internet, or like through social media of some sort. You might know of each other, basically. This person looks up to you a ton, especially if you are an activist, or if you are very vocal about your stance and your ideals. This is someone who looks up to you a lot and takes a lot of inspiration from how you hold yourself and how you operate in life. But have they have a little bit of trouble getting their feet under themselves and really turning all of their ideals into like real manifested energy, basically. And the Eight of Wands capping it off. But they definitely want to contact you. Between the Knight of Cups, the Magician, and the Eight of Wands, these are all communication cards. So they definitely want to contact you. They definitely are trying to pull themselves together enough to contact you. I get the sense that some of these people want to ask you for advice. For some of you, this is going to be romantic, but for a lot of you, this is more of a friendship energy. This is someone who really wants to open up some kind of friendship with you. They really want to start a community with you, or they want to get you involved with their community. This is someone who really values your input and really values your point of view. So they really, really want to get you involved with what they're doing because they think that you would be a really, really amazing asset. Again, if you are someone who is very vocal, especially on social media, especially if you have some kind of social media presence, or if you are a figure in your community as far as like activism goes, this person looks up to you in that regard, and they would love to get your point of view, and they would love to get your opinion on a lot of the things that they are trying to accomplish right now. Sorry about that, guys. That was a phone call I needed to take. But as I was saying, this person has been thinking about you recently because they want to ask your opinion. They would like your influence on something that they're trying to accomplish or something that they've started doing. I'm getting almost like self I think I mentioned solar punk earlier. Like I self-sufficiency. You might be someone who's like really into like self-sufficiency or like gardening or baking or like stuff like that. I have a feeling that they're trying to get they might that might be what this is. They're trying to get into something like that and they would really like your input on it. And we've got the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is indicative of someone who has been through a lot, right? Someone who has a lot of experience. They see you as someone that they look up to a lot. The 8 to the 9 here, too. they see you as someone very forward moving. They see you as someone very progressive, even if you're not someone who is actively involved in stuff like activism or social justice within your community. They see you as someone who is very forward moving and very progressive, and they would like your influence back into their life and your influence on what they're doing. They respect you a lot, they admire you a lot, they respect you a ton, and they think that you could help them better themselves. And the Two of Wands. Yeah, they're at a crossroads in their life right now. They're at a point in their life where they're getting ready to move forward. This Ace of Wands reversed here is indicative of them not knowing which direction to take, even. Like, they definitely know where they want to go, they definitely know what they want to do, but they don't quite know the physical, literal ways to get there. I think I might have mentioned earlier that they are someone who has like lofty ideals, but they have a really hard time putting those ideals into actual physical motion. That is where they would like your help with. This is someone who really wants you as a mentor. They want you to help mentor them in their life. If they aren't someone who's literally physically younger than you, they're someone who sees you as a whole lot more mature than they are, a whole lot more experienced than they are. The Two of Wands speaks of preparation. It speaks of putting a plan together and putting a plan in motion, right? This is someone who sees you as the kind of person who can create things. This is someone who sees you as the kind of person who is capable of putting your plans into motion and manifesting things into reality. This is likely someone who knew you at a time in your life where they watched you manifest something into reality or manifest things into reality. I think I mentioned earlier that this likely is someone who you know through like social media, or who might know you through social media, someone who you don't know very well, someone who might be like a long distance friend, or like a friend of a friend. Like, this is definitely someone who you don't have a previously existing relationship established with them, not a serious one anyway, and they're trying to figure out the best way to come into your life. They're trying to figure out the best way to ask for your assistance. All right, we've got the Turtle. Wise, easily contented, well loved. This is someone who's really well respected, really well liked in their community. This is someone who's very well liked in their community. Someone who is a team player. I'm getting team player energy. And I think that team player energy is part of what's holding them. They have a hard time being a leader. They have a really hard time leading. They're used to taking direction from other people. So now that they're at a part in their life where they're trying to accomplish something in their life that requires them to like take the lead, they're having kind of a difficult time doing that for themselves. And they see you as someone who is very, very capable of taking the lead. They see you as someone who is a natural born leader. Even if that's not the case, even if you don't see yourself that way, this is definitely someone who sees you as like a natural born leader. They see you as someone who they look up to a ton, especially if you are open about any struggles that you might have had, or anything that you might have gone through on like social media or publicly, if that's like a part of your public image. This is someone who is very well versed in your story and takes a lot of inspiration from your story. Someone who might have a very similar story to yours, in fact, someone who might have gone through very similar things to you, someone whose life might have been difficult in very similar ways to yours. So they feel a sort of kinship there. There's definitely a sort of kinship here. Even though they might not know you, even though this might not be a relationship that's like actually a very, very actually a really in-depth relationship, this is someone who feels a lot of kinship to you, someone who feels like you two have a lot in common, or you two have a lot to relate over. And we've got fireflies, Bright, compassionate healer. Healer and compassionate stand out there. So does Bright. This is definitely someone who sees you as like the light in a room. This is someone who kind of idealizes you, but I don't think they do it on purpose. I think they just don't really know you. They only know the public image that you put out. They only know the best foot that you put forward, right? So they idealize you because they don't know anything that goes on behind the scenes. I don't think that they think everything is perfect for you. In fact, I think that they take a lot of inspiration from the fact that everything isn't perfect for you. They take a lot of inspiration from the fact that you are very openly a normal human person, you know what I mean? But that doesn't change the fact that they still see you as kind of this larger than life presence. Compassionate and healer, they admire these two specific traits about you, I think. With healer, I'm definitely getting the sense that you yourself have healed from, I'm getting publicly, I think it's a part of your public image that you've healed from some really devastating times in your life. And this person takes a lot of inspiration from that. They take a lot of inspiration from the fact that you are a very, very, you're someone who's very resilient. You're someone who has managed to pick yourself up and keep moving. And more so than that, you're someone who has also managed to continue to be a very compassionate person despite everything that you've been through. I think that's part of why they even have any kind of hope that they can establish some kind of relationship with you. Because from everything that it looks like, this is just a fan, you know? Like, even if this is someone who you do have some kind of loose friendship with, this person feels like they're more of a fan of yours than they could ever be your friend. Like, they look up to you and admire you so much at this exact moment in time that it's very difficult for them to even imagine being like a close friend of yours. So they admire the fact that like you, through everything that you've been through, you've managed to stay compassionate and you've managed to stay a very approachable person, and it gives them the courage to think about approaching you. It gives them the courage to even think that you guys could be really good friends. You guys could really establish a real relationship together. Because there is definitely the sense that they feel younger than you. Again, if this person isn't literally physically younger than you, they feel like they are a lot less mature than you. They personally feel like they are a lot less mature than you. Like they have a lot less experience in life than you. Like they have a lot less going for them than you do. And I think it makes them a little bit self-conscious. It makes them wonder if they have anything to offer you as far as a friendship would go. You know what I mean? That seems to be a really big theme in these readings, actually. You guys are really intimidating. People are really intimidated. This person is really, really intimidated by just the way you hold yourself. They're really intimidated by the way that you manage to get through life. Tiger sharks. Ambitious, adventurous, needs to prove themselves. Yeah, this person feels like you are someone who is so accomplished. You are someone who has, you're a shark. You're someone who has managed to move your way through life and accomplish all of these things, right? You're someone who has managed to be so resilient through all of these maybe not so great things that have happened to you in your life. They admire that a ton about you. And they admire that about you because they feel like they need to prove themselves. They feel like you have already proven yourself. And I don't think that this is someone who could be convinced otherwise. This is definitely someone who is a fan. This is someone who, if someone tries to badmouth you around them, they will stick up for you. Even if they don't know you personally, they will be like, no, you don't know them. You don't know what they've been through. Like, this is someone who is a fan. There's no other way to put it. They're a huge fan of yours. They admire you a ton. You inspire them a lot. They would love to get closer to you, and part of it is because they feel like you have proven yourself. Again, they feel like you guys come from very similar stock. They feel like you guys have faced very similar problems in life. So they feel the need to prove themselves, and they feel like you have already accomplished that feat. You inspire them because you have done what they're aiming to do as far as they're concerned. As far as they're concerned, you're the shit. As far as they're concerned, you have proven yourself. You are the best. You are the pinnacle. You know what I mean? So you are what they're aiming for. You are what they hope to achieve. You're the level that they hope to get to. It's super complimentary energy. This person just admires you a ton. They respect you a ton. They really want other people, especially other people in their life. Like, this is the kind of person who, like, they've shown your social media to people in their real life. They, in like their physical life, they've pulled up your social media and they've been like, yeah, this person is really inspiring. I think this person is super cool. Look at how great this person is. Like, this is someone who has told other people in their life how inspiring they find you to be. And if anyone has anything negative to say about you, or if anyone has any like weird comments to make, they will defend you. They, just like a fan will, they will defend you, and they will get really weird about anyone in their life trying to say anything weird about you. All right. What more can we know about the person who is missing you the most right now? And we've got Beaver, dedicated, hard worker, team player. I think I mentioned team player earlier, actually. Yeah, this is definitely someone who, they're a very hard worker. They're very dedicated to their ideals. They just have kind of a difficult time putting their own feet down when it comes to what manifesting those ideas in real life will mean. They're a team player, but they have a difficult time leading the pack. They admire you because you are a leader. In their eyes, you are a leader. And they really want to emulate that energy. They'd really like to form a relationship with you, get a real, actual, in-depth relationship with you going, because they really want to emulate the energy that you put out. As a side note, if you guys have been taking a break from social media, if you've been kind of on a hiatus of any sort, the actual theme of this reading is who is missing you, right? And again, this person doesn't really know you enough for it to make a whole lot of sense for them to miss you. What they miss is knowing what's going on in your life. Like, again, I'm trying not to be weird about it, because there is the possibility that this is someone who, like, they're a distance friend, they're like a mutual on social media who you just don't really know a whole lot. Like, they're definitely not creepy. They're not someone who's trying to be creepy. But there's someone who doesn't really know you well enough to miss you, you know? Like, if you found out that this person missed you, it would be like, how can they miss me? I don't they only see me around social media. Like, how can they miss me? It's They miss you because they miss seeing you around. They miss seeing your posts. They miss seeing what's going on in your life. This is the kind of energy of, like, they've been checking out your pages more and more often recently, or if they have any kind of way to get in touch with you, or if they know people in common, they've been asking around about you, or they've been kind of like writing out messages and trying to figure out the least creepy way to try and get in contact with you again. Like, this is someone who's been missing your energy. They've been really missing your energy in their life, even if your energy isn't like super, super intimate with them. And we've got the eel. Awkward and socially challenged, elusive and reclusive. Yeah, what stands out to me the most there is awkward, because everything I just said is a little bit awkward. This person, I think, has a difficult time starting conversations. They have a difficult time starting relationships. Like, so I think that they can get attached to people a little bit easily. It's a little bit easy for them to get attached to other people. So this is maybe a little bit of a parasocial thing. Like, this person is maybe a little bit attached to the energy that you bring to like their dashboard or that you bring to their social media experience. And if you're like a streamer, if you're an influencer and you've been taking any kind of a break, they just miss having your influence or they missed having you in their life in some capacity, basically. There's definitely the sense here that they feel a little bit awkward about it. Like, again, you don't know them quite well enough for this to be like a thing where missing you makes a whole lot of sense initially. So they do feel a little bit awkward about how much they really miss your energy being in their life. And we've got the cat. Intelligent and street smart, beautiful and well kept, sexually seductive. But this is not someone who is socially awkward on the norm. This is definitely someone who isn't like, you would be surprised, I think, to know just how socially awkward they find themselves to be and just how awkward they find this whole situation, their attachment to you to be. This is definitely someone very fun loving. This is definitely someone who feels very popular. This is someone who, I think I mentioned initially that this is someone who they're kind of conflict averse. They don't like disharmonious interactions in their life. That is the kind of popular that this person is. This is definitely someone who I think part of why they admire you and your ability to stand up for what you believe in and your ability to really put your foot down about things. They admire you in that regard because they don't really have the backbone to do that. They like being liked too much. This is someone who enjoys being popular a little bit too much to ever want to cause waves the way that it's looking like they'll have to cause waves to really do what they want to do. You know what I mean? That's part of why they really want to know what your advice would be. They really want your influence in their life because they feel like you're someone who you stand on your own 2 feet. You do what you believe in. You stand by your values and you stand by your ideals and you stand by who you are. They really admire that about you. There's also no denying the fact that this person is very attractive. Just as a side note, this is someone who is very classically attractive. This is someone who is very classically popular. Good looks, charming personality. This is someone who is very classically likable. And we've got the Phoenix, beautiful, mysterious, and regenerative. Beautiful stands out there the most. Again, someone who is very classically attractive, very, very classically attractive, but also regenerative. I mentioned that this is someone who they're trying to change right now. They're trying to alter their path a little bit so they can actually put their foot down and they can actually start standing for something and standing in their beliefs. They really want to start turning these ideals, they really want to start turning all of these things that they have in their heart, all of these emotions that they feel, they want to start turning them into physical movement. They want to start actually making a difference. They want to start actually making a change in their life. They want to start actually making physical, tangible changes in their life. And straight down the line right there, down to the 8 of Wands and the 9 of Wands, and they think you can do that for them. They think that you can help them. The longer that this reading goes on, the more it seems to lean a little bit romantic. For some of you, this will definitely be a romantic offer, but that won't be the case for all of you. For a lot of you, this person views you as a mentor. This person views you as someone who has so much to teach them. They want to learn from you. Any kind of romantic situation this is, though, this person very much feels like they have something to learn from you. They very much feel like you have a lot to teach them. You have a lot that you could teach them. And we've got the Wolf. Highly idealized, regularly demonized, misunderstood. Highly idealized, I get the sense again, what comes to mind is that class of attractiveness. Lately, this person has been feeling trapped by how attractive and likable they are. That sounds ridiculous, but lately this person has been feeling trapped by their need to be liked, is probably the better way to put that. They've been feeling trapped by their need and their desire to to be liked, to be popular, to have people on their side. To cause waves is to be a polarizing figure, right? Like, people don't make differences in the world without gaining some enemies. You don't know, like, you can't be doing something. There's a whole phrase about it. You only have haters if you're doing stuff right. I screwed that up so bad. Talk about being socially awkward. This person doesn't want haters. This person doesn't want to be a polarizing figure. And they're feeling trapped by that desire now because they also really want to make a change. They also really want to be a person that stands for something, that believes in something, that is a figure that inspires admiration the way that you are a figure that inspire admiration to them. They want that. And they're feeling like that's something that is being kept away from them because of their own personality flaws now. Not that being popular or likable is a personality flaw, but if it's something that's keeping you in the way of being authentic to yourself, then it's always going to feel like a personality flaw. It's always going to feel like something that's not right because it's keeping you from being who you want to be. And we've got the Falcon. Survivors, ruthless, easily insulted. So easily insulted stands out the most there. This is someone who they like being liked because they're very sensitive to criticism. They're very sensitive to criticism. So even the idea of having to like go toe to toe with other people who firmly stand against what they believe in, it gives them a sort of anxiety. I'm definitely getting a sort of anxiety here. They they feel like you are a very brave person. They think that you are a very brave person. What comes to mind is the strength card, in fact. They feel that you are very brave and they want to emulate that braveness. They really want to emulate that braveness. If this is a romantic situation, if this is someone who views you romantically, they feel like they aren't good enough for you because of this lack of a spine, this lack of lacking braveness isn't the same thing as lacking a spine, but lacking the braveness to stand up for yourself will always feel like you're being spineless. You know what I mean? Especially if you're picking your likability over your ideals and your principles. It's always going to feel spineless in the end. And this person, I think, more and more has been facing that decision, and more has been having to make some really tough calls, and more has been not super happy with how they've been coming out on the other end of it. It's definitely been making them focus on your energy more. It's definitely been making them idealize you even more so than usual. Like their energy is definitely more focused on you than usual because this is a person who has known of you for a very long time. This isn't like a new follower. This isn't like a new fan. This is someone who's been in your periphery and been in your orbit for like a second now. And recently, your impact in their life has been even more important than usual. Because you're definitely someone who they've always looked up to. You're definitely someone who they've always taken inspiration from. But recently, that has been even more important in their life. All right. Now, it hasn't been super clear just yet if they're going to contact you. So that is going to be the last thing that we read for. One more deck. Is this person who is missing you going to contact you? Will the person who is missing you be contacting you? Will the person who is missing you be contacting you? So I kept wanting to say be contacting you soon. This energy feels very all or nothing. They definitely want to contact you, and I think that if they don't contact you soon, this energy is going to fizzle out. So either they do take the leap and they do contact you soon, or they wait too long and they fade into the background and never get the chance to work themselves up. And we've got the lily. Yeah, lily speaks of winter. Now, this is a timeless reading, but I am currently like right on the cusp of winter. I'm in late fall, early winter right now. So expect communication, expect a message from this person sometime in the next season, the next like actual season, winter, fall, autumn, summer. In the next season, expect some kind of communication from this person. And we've got the clouds, and it's going to be asking for help. The cloud speaks of like depression. This person is going to reach out to you during a really low time in their life. They're going to be looking for clarity. Lilies are also about purity. They speak of purity. This person is going to be reaching out to you because they think that you can offer them clarity at a very, very low time in their life. And the rider speaks of very quick communication. And the way that the cards line up in Lenormand with the cloud card, there's always a lighter side where the sun is peeking through and a darker side where the gray clouds exist. The lighter side where the sun is peeking through, the card next to it is always indicative of the bright spot in a very negative card. This message that they send you, again, they're looking for clarity. This person will be reaching out to you with very soon, sometime in the next season. This person will be sending you a message, reaching out to you in some way because they want clarity and they think that you have that to offer them. And we've got the tree at the bottom of the deck, and the tree speaks of health. Again, this person feels like you can give them health. They feel like you can rejuvenate them in some way. They're going to be in a very dark time when they reach out to you. Just be prepared for that. They're going to be at a very low point when they reach out to you in their life. And they might be expecting a little bit too much from you, but try to take it as a compliment. They really think of you as just this amazing person who can just make anything happen. All right, loves, that is what I've got for you. I hope it was fun. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was entertaining. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, last but certainly not least, we are on pile 4 with the I almost said 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Diamonds. Now, 2 things already. 1, this is the only card that got pulled for any of the piles that was not a court card. So already there's a sense that more than one person is going to come through in this reading. 2, the 9 of Pentacles is indicative of a woman. Traditionally in the Rider-Waite deck, it's depicted by a woman who is standing alone in a walled-off garden, a very plush garden, a very lush garden, but her only company is a little bird that she has. So already there's this sense that multiple people are on the outside looking in. You might be at a time in your life where like your DMs are really dry. You haven't gotten a whole lot of communication in a second. You might be at a rather like solitary time in your life. There are a lot of people who are on the outside looking in, though. There are a lot of people who are, yeah, the hermit. You might be in a hermit period right now. You may have been in a hermit period for a while up until this point. There are a lot of people from the outside looking in, though, that have been watching you and thinking about you. When I say watching you, by the way, I'm trying, not in a creepy way, but like if you are someone who like regularly walks your dog around the neighborhood or anything like that, there are people who are pleased when they see you out and about. They like seeing you out in the world. If you are someone who is big on social media or someone who has a social media presence, there are people who really love seeing what you have to post, who follow your social media, whether you're like an influencer or really popular online or not. You're just someone who people like seeing around, and there are multiple people who like seeing you live your life. The King of Cups popping out first. So because we're already talking about multiple people, the King of Cups here is indicative of Scorpio energy. I am right outside of Scorpio season. I think Scorpio season just passed for where I am right now. So this reading is timeless. But again, I just passed Scorpio season. What that tells me is that these people, especially people who are currently thinking about you, whose energies are currently really attached to yours, these are people who either were important in the last season in your life, the last chapter of your life, or people who watched you live the last chapter of your life and are very, very impressed with how you came out on the other side of it. If this is people through social media, there's a huge chance that you went through like a very public sort of falling out on social media, or something very public happened to you on social media. If these are people who like watched you around the neighborhood, these are people who like, you may have gone through a very noticeable public transformation in your actual physical life. You may look different. You may have gone through, like, you may have moved, or you may be dressing differently. You may have, like, you may be in a much better financial place than you were at the beginning of the last chapter of your life. Like, these are people who watched you transform through the last chapter of your life, and they are very, very impressed with what they've seen. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that you, if it's not specific to the last chapter of your life, you haven't had it exactly easy. Like, it might be a part of your story, like your very public image, that you've gone through a lot. Yeah, the Fool card. The Fool card is indicative of Aquarius energy. And Aquarius energy is it's very communal, public, almost like Aquarius energy speaks of like social media presence as well. Definitely the sense that very publicly you went through a pretty serious transformation in the last chapter of your life. And there are people who are really, really impressed with what they've seen. They're incredibly impressed with how far you've come. Definitely the sense that there are people who want to know your secret. There are some people who really want to know your secret. They really want to know how you did it all. If you're someone who's openly spiritual, if you are someone who openly is into things like magic or spell work, there are definitely some people who think that it's magic. There's definitely some people who think that you might have performed some kind of spell work or gotten involved with some kind of like spiritual manifestation that has heavily contributed to how far you've come over the last chapter of your life. There is a sense here that just by living your life, especially if you're an openly spiritual person, you've kind of changed people's minds on the idea of spirituality. If there were people, I get this feeling that amongst the people who are really interested in you right now and really attached to your energy right now, there are people who would consider themselves to be very logical. People who would consider themselves to be very, very like logical, science-based, science-oriented, who can't fault, who can't argue with the results of everything that's happened in your life. Like, you've kind of changed people's opinions on just how much they're willing to believe spirituality is real. All right. What more can we know about who's missing you right now? For some of you, these are people, well, of some of the people that these are, because again, this is a wide variety of energies, but a good chunk of these energies are from people who should have been there for you when you really needed them and weren't. Again, there's a sense that you had a very, very difficult chapter of your life. You just came out of a very difficult chapter of your life, or you're coming out of a very difficult chapter of your life. And there's a sense that part of why it was difficult is because you had to do it yourself. Part of why it was difficult is because you really had to tough it out by yourself. If not by yourself, then definitely without. Yeah, the King of Swords. The King of Swords is, this is again Aquarius energy, another Aquarius card. The King of Swords is very, very firm, almost cutting energy, right? This is someone who really had to fight, like who genuinely had to like tough it out by themselves. If you weren't alone, then you didn't have the support that you should have had. You didn't have the support that you should have had access to. A lot of the people who are currently missing you are people who are really recognizing the fact that they screwed up by not being there for you. They gambled and lost. They put their bets on the wrong horse. They didn't think that you would make it through the way that you made it through, and now you've made it through and they look like idiots. The Five of Wands. Yeah, the Five of Wands is indicative of gambling, even like straight up gambling. They gambled and they lost. They did not think that you would come out the way that you came out. They did not think that you would come out on top the way that you came out on top. And now they look like idiots because they can't get back into your life. Like, it is shameful, at least in my opinion, to be the kind of person who would abandon someone when they need you and then come back like nothing ever happened after they don't need you anymore. That kind of shit is so shameful in my opinion. And these people aren't stupid. Some of them might not be the best people in the world, but they aren't dumb. They know that like doing that kind of thing is insulting to you, frankly, because it is insulting to you. It's insulting to the person that you are approaching to be like, "Hey, yeah, I know that I wasn't there when you needed me, but you'll give me another chance, right?" Like that kind of thing is insulting. And especially if you're not even willing to apologize in the process. And these people, at least a chunk of these people, definitely recognize the fact that they really, really seriously screwed up and there might not be any fixing this. The Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups and the Fool, these are both mermaid cards too. There's something very watery, something very spiritual, something very emotional about this. The Queen of Cups is Cancer energy. This is someone who is very, very firm, who has a very, very firm grasp on their emotions. And I feel that this is indicative of you. I feel like this is more you. You are at a point in your life where you are at an entirely new spot than you were before. You are at an entirely new place than you were the last time that these people were in your life. You have moved on. You are someone, this Cancer or this Queen of Cups is literally depicted as a queen of the sea, right? Like, you are at a point where in your life where you have control and you have power over yourself, over your environment. Like, you aren't at the desperate point that you were at the last time these people were in your life. And so they they don't even have anything to offer to try and come back into your life. Like, this is a very, very sad energy because ultimately it feels like they recognize that they lost. They gambled and they lost. And I would feel sorry for them if it wasn't so insulting to constantly say that they gambled on you as a human being and were wrong. Like, that is incredibly insulting energy, actually. It leaves no room for empathy. And the Ten of Wands, and they recognize that. This Ten of Wands is even depicted by a skull. Like, they recognize that there's a sort of death that's happened here. Like, there's a sense here that, like, if they were to come back, right? If they were to come back, if they were to get it together enough to come back and approach you, would they deserve the second chance? Let's not even touch on whether or not you would give it to them, right? Would they deserve it? The Moon, that is the question. Would you deserve it? The Moon is indicative of like deep transformative thoughts. It's indicative, honestly, of like melancholy thoughts a lot of the time. The Moon can be indicative of a period of depression. The thought in question is, would they deserve it? And the answer is no. The Ace of Swords is indicative of an answer. They know better. They know that the answer is no. They would not deserve a second shot. They would not deserve to have a spot in your life now that you're doing well when they weren't around when you really needed them. It's so sad. It's just such sad energy. Like, for some of you, this was a group of friends. And for some of you, this was romantic. Like, but if this was romantic, this wasn't just romantic. Like, this is the energy of a very public period of your life where you really needed support. And these people were not there to give it to you. These people who really should have been supporting you were not there to support you through it. And now that you have come out on the other end, now that you are doing better, they're recognizing just how badly they screwed up, and there's no real way back into your life. That energy of regret has like overtaken the initial energy too, because these aren't the only people watching you right now. There are a lot of eyes on you right now. There are a lot of people who are very interested in your story and very interested in what you're going to do with your life and with your path. But these people and the regret that they feel when they think of you, it has overpowered so much of the other parts of your energy. Yeah, the death card. Like, it feels like a major death. These people have so much regret that they harbor because they know that you didn't deserve how they treated you. And now their karma is to watch you succeed. Their karma is to know that they don't have any access to you anymore. And honestly, their karma is to wonder, if they had stayed in your life, would you be where you are now? If their influence had stuck to your life, would you have succeeded the way that you succeeded now? Because they're not succeeding. They're not in great places in their life right now. They're going through lots of really horrible things right now. So if things line up in the universe where we get what we put out, would you be where you are if they had kept up with their really bad influence in your life? It's something that haunts them. It's a question that haunts them. And I want to make it clear that, like, I don't believe that we necessarily get everything that we put out into the world. I think it's unfair to say that. There are lots of people who are in circumstances that are not their fault at all, and it's entirely unfair to even insinuate that they're getting what they deserve because they're getting what they put out into the universe. That's not fair. It's not right. But I'm talking more if the only factor is these people, right? If the only factor is the choices they make. These people don't make the best choices. These people, this isn't the first time they've gambled and lost on something important. Like, these aren't the kind of people who make good decisions. So bad consequences follow them around. And if that's the case, if they had stayed in your life, would their bad consequences have impacted your life so much that you wouldn't have succeeded the way you succeeded? They get to wonder that now. They get to wonder if it was part of the reason why you were having such a hard time was them. If part of why you succeeded once they left your life was them. The Four of Swords and the Page of Cups. And part of your karma is you don't have to worry about that. You get to relax. The Page of Cups is indicative here of the red string of fate. Fate has led you to a point in your life where you can finally take a breath and relax. This is your karma. You have put in a lot of work, and you are at a point in your life where you get to chill for a second, and you get to take a breath, and you get to relax. Your karma is to enjoy yourself, while theirs is to watch you enjoy yourself while things go poorly for them. All right. What more can we know about who is missing you right now? All right, and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, the wheel is going up and the wheel is going down. Your wheel is going up. You went through the downward spin of your wheel. You are on the up and they're on the down, and they recognize that. And that's how life works, right? It's unfortunate, but now you guys are positioned on exact opposite ends of like your life experiences. Even like there's this sense that like this is involves probably for most of you multiple people, but again, if this is a romantic situation, this is obviously focusing very specifically on one person. But there is a sense here that like you and these people, they, even if you two were to meet in the middle, you're at completely different points in your life now. Like there would be very little for you to even relate on, because you're at totally different points in your life right now. You are at completely unrecognizable experience points. And we've got the sun, because you're at a really good spot in your life. And the Ace of Cups. The sun and the Ace of Cups are indicative of your life experience right now. You are at a very good point in your life right now. You are at a point in your life where you're getting to enjoy yourself, where you're seeing the fruits of your labors. This is very fruits of your labors energy. And a side note to this is also to expect good relationships come in next. Part of your karma, because you're definitely being, I think part of the reason why your pile is the only pile that didn't get a court card is also because this reading thus far has been more about reaffirming to you that you didn't deserve how these people treated you, and you didn't deserve to be left behind by these people. This is more confirmation of the fact that like if these people have been on your mind recently, if you've been like remembering bad experiences with people in your life recently, know that they've been on your mind because they're getting what they're getting their karma. They're getting their karma for doing you dirty. They're getting their karma for not being there for you when you needed them and when they really should have been there for you. They're getting their karma. That's why they've been on your mind recently. But part of their karma, a huge part of their karma, is to see you be happy. So make sure that you're happy. Enjoy the life that you enjoy, the spoils of everything. Enjoy reaping the rewards, because it feels very hard won. It feels like you've gone through a lot to get the rewards that you're reaping. If they haven't started coming in yet, don't stop. Keep working. You will see rewards very, very soon. And we've got the Six of Wands. Yeah, you're going to see success soon. You're going to see success soon. And everyone around you is going to see success soon as well. Or everyone around you is going to see you see success soon as well. However, my saying that lets me know that all of the people that did support you, all of the people that you met along the way, all of the people that are a part of your inner circle now, they will also see success. They will also see success, and that is part of their karma for supporting you. You feel like a very spiritually protected person. You feel like a very thoroughly spiritually protected person. And this next chapter of your life is going to see you and those you love getting rewards for your faith. The Emperor. So keep moving forward. You're definitely being guided to continue moving forward. Don't stop. The Emperor is Aries energy. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. And the Page of Cups coming out one more time, because you're on a very destined path. The Page of Cups again here is indicative of the red string of faith. Between the Page of Cups and the Emperor, keep moving forward. Follow your intuition, especially if you're being very intuitively driven right now. Keep following your intuition. You're being very divinely guided right now. When you get to the end of this path, everything that's happened so far will make sense. You're on your way to huge rewards. Don't stop. Keep going. It's so exciting. Don't stop. Keep going. This is such a nice energy, because frankly, the people who miss you suck. Like, the people who miss you sound like they suck. The people who miss you sound like they were really mean people who like abandoned you at like a really bad time. So who cares that they miss you, frankly? This is a really great energy to know that, like, actually what's happening is you are going to be seeing sun coming in soon, and you are going to be seeing actual rewards coming in for everything that you've done soon. Good things are coming to you, good things that you deserve, and all of these people, part of their karma is to see it happen for you. And the world at the bottom of the deck, especially if this was a romantic situation, expect new romance, expect new profound romance. If this was not a romantic situation, if this was a friend situation, expect good friendships. No matter the case, expect better versions of what you lost. If you lost bad friends, if you lost crappy friends, expect good friends. Expect found family vibes. Expect people who are going to support you the way that you would have supported your friends. If this is a romantic situation, expect someone who will care about you and love you and support you and respect you the way that you deserve and the way that you would respect them. Expect reciprocity in your relationships. That is on its way for you. Expect reciprocity in your relationships. I almost don't. We're on a new deck, so we're back to reading for information about the people who miss you. And the people who miss you kind of suck. They kind of have nasty rank vibes. Like, honestly, good riddance. I'm sorry that you had to go through horrible times. I'm sorry that you had to go through really, really difficult times when you deserved to have people there to support you. And you had to do it without that support, without the support that you deserved. But, like, good riddance to bad trash. Like, that they needed to be cleared out of your life before you started seeing rewards, because they don't belong in your life if they won't be there when things are bad. If they won't be there for you when everything sucks, then they definitely don't deserve to be there for you when you're reaping in rewards. They don't deserve to ride your coattails to the finish line. That's not right. And I think that's part of how you were divinely blessed here. Again, there's definitely the sense of being very, very spiritually protected here. You have very, very heavy spiritual protection. And the things protecting you, the things surrounding you, they did not want these people riding your coattails to the top. They did not want these people to be involved in the successes that you're going to find. They did not want these people to be around for you finding success. These people were not good for you. They were not going to support you at a time in your life. If they weren't going to support you when you needed it, they don't get to support you when it's easy for them. That's not fair, and they were cleared out of your life specifically for that reason. We've got the turtle, wise, easily contented, and well loved. What stands out the most there is wise. You have very, very wise spiritual protection. Trust your intuition and trust that you are on a very divinely guided path. When things fall apart, trust that they are falling apart so they can fall back together again for you. Cute, playful, loving, and loyal. I have a feeling that that refers to you. Remember that about yourself. When you feel poorly because you feel like people... If you ever feel like people have abandoned you or left you behind because of something that was your fault, remember that you are a wonderful human being. You didn't deserve people being awful to you, and you didn't deserve people leaving you behind at a time when you needed them the most. You are a wonderful person, and you're going to see people who deserve you. You're going to have people in your life who deserve you. You're a very, very loyal and loving person, and you will have people in your life soon who are also loyal and loving. All right. What more can we know, please, about who misses you? we've got the monkey, social and popular, talented with the hands, athletic and clever. So social and popular come to mind most here. And actually, when I think monkey, what I think what jumps out to me specifically is monkey see, monkey do. I have a feeling that this was a group of people. There's a group of people who are on the outside looking in, and they all blame each other for things falling apart. They are all, now that they're only stuck with each other on the outside looking in, they're all turning on each other and blaming each other for the fact that you have disappeared, and they all have no chance of getting back into your life. For some of you, this might have been very toxic family. This is the energy of very, very toxic family. For some of you, this was like a very, very close-knit friend circle, which frankly makes it even more insulting that they abandoned you when you needed them. But for others of you, this was like literal family. This was actual family that weren't there for you when you really needed them to be there for you. And right now, they're all eating each other alive over it. They're all blaming each other for the fact that you will never give any of them a second chance. And we've got seahorse, wallflower, voracious appetite, and slow mover. Something about slow mover stands out the most there. These are people who, part of why they didn't think that you would be able to move out of your bad situation is because these are people who can't move out of their own bad situations. There's definitely a sense of projection going on here. There's a lot of projection going on here. When they decided that they weren't going to support you, it had nothing to do with you. And I think it's important that you know that. I think it's important that you hear that. It had nothing to do with you. There's a whole lot of projection going on here. There was a lot of projection that happened here. These people didn't think that you could make it out because they wouldn't have been able to make it out. They don't have what it takes to really pull themselves up and really work through things the way that you did when you had your back up against the wall. And that's part of why they're all so shocked that you did. And it's part of why they're all so like jaw dropped and they don't know how to even approach you now. And we've got the bat, alternative and unorthodox, unique, cult classic. So these are definitely people who stand out. When I think alternative and unorthodox, honestly, what I think of is the fact that these are people who, they stand out in a crowd, and honestly not always in a good way. I think these are people who like they have very, I'm getting abrasive. I'm getting like abrasive personalities. These are people who don't necessarily fit in the most with like the general populace. They have kind of grating personalities that make it difficult for them to make friends outside of each other, and that's how this toxic group just kind of festers. That's how this toxic cycle just kind of festers. No one wants to get better, and anyone who gets better can't handle being in that toxicity anymore. That's how really toxic groups in general end up festering, right? Like, frankly, you're probably very lucky to have gotten the hell away from these people. They have rancid vibes. Like, you're probably very lucky to have gotten the hell away from these people. And we've got fireflies, bright, compassionate, and healer. You might not feel that way, though. I get the sense that I feel even a little bit bad talking so badly about these people, because I do get the sense here that you still have a soft spot for them. Even if I don't think you would ever give them a second chance, even if I don't think that you would ever want them back in your life, I do get the sense here that you still have like a soft spot for these people. I do get the sense here that you still have a certain amount of compassion to offer these people, because you are a compassionate person. You are a person who is capable of being compassionate for these people who at one point you really cared about, and at one point you were very, very close to. It's wonderful, wonderful, inspiring energy. Don't let these people take it. Don't let these people take advantage of it. Don't let these people take advantage of how great you are. Don't let these people take advantage of how compassionate a person you are. However, they might not even give you the chance. I would be surprised if at least some of these people didn't try to reach out to you. I would be very, very shocked if at least some of these people did not try to reach out to you. They just won't be able to help themselves. But that is going to be the last question that we ask, whether or not these people are going to reach out to you. So one more deck. All right. So are the people who miss you right now going to reach out to you? Are the people who miss you going to reach out to you? Are the people who miss you going to reach out to you? And we've got the star card. So the star card is yes. That's a yes. In the Lenormand deck, the star card is indicative of electronic communication. So expect some kind of message, like a text. I'd be surprised if it was something as intimate as a phone call. Because there is something very intimate about actually like exchanging voice. You know what I mean? I would be surprised if it was something like a phone call or like FaceTime. Expect something like a text or like a message over social media. For some of you, this will be like a friend request or a follow request. For others of you, this will be like an accidental like on your picture or something, like something totally accidental that just lets you know that these people are still all up in your energetic space. And we've got the child, and the child speaks of new things. So it also speaks of childishness. When these people reach out to you, they're going to try to make it sound like nothing ever happened. They're going to try to make it sound like no time ever passed, like they didn't leave you out in the cold when you really needed them. They're just going to try and open up a whole new line of conversation like nothing ever happened and no time ever passed. You know, kind of like a child would, to avoid consequence. And the storks. The storks are indicative of change. They're hoping for an easy change. They're crossing their fingers and hoping for an easy change. That is the goal of this lackadaisical messaging. That is the goal of pretending that things aren't as serious as they are. They're really hoping for like a seamless transition into being friends again, or into being in each other's lives again. And the Sun card at the bottom of the deck, that's what their hope is. They're definitely hoping for easy communication and easy reestablishment. These people do not want to apologize. Just expect communication. Don't expect an apology. I don't think an apology is what's coming for you from these people. So it's obviously totally up to you if you decide to let them back into your life again. But please value yourself. Please understand that you are worth so much more than people who won't be there for you when you need them. All right, loves. That was a little bit heavier than I thought it would be. I'm sorry about that. I hope it was enlightening and fun regardless. I hope it was entertaining regardless. I will see you next time, lovelies. Bye.